what we're doing. You know who I am. I would like to recap just a little bit from last week. Let me move me over here. So just to recap on last week, the root of unhealthy habits is that we're seeking comfort from discomfort. We have a very low tolerance for discomfort. We default to pleasure over pain, and anything that relieves discomfort is potentially addictive. Boredom is one of our biggest discomforts. So if you can practice doing nothing, if you can get really good at being bored, be silent, sit with it, then you will increase your tolerance for boredom and you are less likely to mindlessly engage in bad habits. It sounds odd, but it really, really works. It works for me a lot. Feelings are faithful messengers and they're rebels of the heart. Honor them, but don't let them define you. Feelings are very powerful for behavior change. Positive thinking alone is insufficient for long-term change. The rumination loop is where we go when we are looping back into unhelpful and unwanted thoughts and feelings. And we can get out of this loop effectively by using the curiosity compass. It's nearly impossible to hold on to anger, sadness, worry, regret when we engage in curiosity. Next. Did anyone, or maybe we'll chat at the end. I'm keen to see if you practiced the curiosity compass tool this week, but we can chat at the end. Otherwise, I have to unshare my screen. We'll chat at the end. So, conformity, this is a quote that I want to share with you. I say this a lot. Conformity is easy, but forging a new path can unlock your true potential, which is limitless. And the way we can unlock this is through adventurous awakenings. So how does this fit into the A.T.L.A.S framework? We've already looked at the first two. Awareness of self was part one. Thoughts and feelings was part two. Locus of control, the disruptor, is the video link that I just sent you. I'm not going to talk about that one tonight because it's a big one, but I did present that, or most of that, in Game Changers last year. And tonight we're going to talk about adventurous awakenings and how that works with our body intelligence and what is body intelligence. And what I would say to you, the sentence that I use for this is, you have no idea what you're capable of. So stop fighting for your limitations and let the genuine emerge. None of us have any idea what we're capable of. Why? Because even our biggest vision that we have is imagined through the lens of our limited mind. So we have no idea. So this is where we're really now starting to open ourselves up. So what we want to start doing now is waking up to these greater powers. We're expanding. What we're going to learn today is why your comfort zone sabotages progress and how to step out of it. How adventurous awakenings expand potential and create new neural pathways. How to align your health decisions with body intelligence so that we can clearly receive the information. And we're going to practice the tool of body intelligence to communicate with your inner wisdom. So what we're doing is we're making space for what's genuine to emerge within us. So why am I saying your comfort zone is slowly killing you? Nothing happens in your comfort zone. Zero. Your powerful predictive processes will take past experiences to predict the immediate future which becomes your present. Staying in your comfort zone limits growth, and it can lead to physical, mental, and emotional stagnation. When you step out of your comfort zone, your brain recalibrates fear and risk, and it expands those capabilities. And the expansion is the key feature. This is what we want. Now, there is a substantial amount of research and peer-reviewed studies to support what I'm saying here. Also, the phrase use it or lose it does speak somewhat to this concept. When you stay within your comfort zone, when you don't use and expand your abilities, you can suffer from chronic inactivity, physical and mental stagnation, and that can lead to a whole host of health problems. Metabolic disorders, cardiovascular disease, and even mental health challenges like depression, anxiety. I actually have a friend who was taking antidepressants for a number of years. And what she was afraid of, she loved running, but she was afraid of running on her own. She wasn't comfortable with running on her own. And it wasn't until she started venturing out on short runs and then longer runs. After a while, running is now part of her lifestyle. She enjoys it tremendously. She no longer takes her antidepressants, and she really can't quite believe it was as simple as that. Staying in your comfort zone also can lead to cognitive decline. If you have a lack of stimulation, a lack of challenge, this can contribute to decline over time, because the brain thrives on activity and novelty. So what we want to step out of our comfort zone, but there's a certain way that we can do it to really awaken, to open the gateway. And this is what I call adventurous awakening. So an adventurous awakening occurs when you push beyond your perceived limit. Normally, what keeps us stuck is fear, and it's psychological fear that keeps us stuck. And this stems from the stories that we tell ourselves about the worst case scenarios. The truth is 95%, and that is staggering and can be supported with data. 95% of what we fear never, ever, ever comes true. So psychological fear should never be a reason to hold you back. But there is an important distinction here, because there is also safety. Physical safety is different from psychological fear. Physical safety should be taken into consideration, and we should always risk assess to be physically safe. And what I mean by that is, for example, you wouldn't go scuba diving if you've never been trained. You wouldn't climb Mount Kilimanjaro if just admit someone here. You wouldn't climb Kilimanjaro if you have not prepared for it. You wouldn't go hiking with wild animals without a qualified guide. So there's a difference between physical safety and psychological fear. So the adventurous awakening requires us to step far enough beyond our comfort zone to the point where adrenaline is released, because I'm talking about what happens in the brain. I'm talking about the actual chemical impact of stepping out of your comfort zone. It's not just a cool phrase. We want to release the adrenaline, we want to elevate our heart rate, and we want to boost our circulation. This is what disrupts the predictive processing. And this is what creates the new neural pathways. So your brain, realizing that it can't do its job, it can't predict, you've stepped into this this area of uncertainty, because the brain doesn't know what's going to happen next. It can't do its job properly. So it goes, oh, hold on a sec, I need to make new pathways. And that's what's happened. It's a massive expansion really, really quickly. And because feelings are involved, it's very, very powerful. And what this does is this increases, it expands our tolerance for ambiguity, for discomfort, for risk. And if you remember, those are part of our hardwiring in our non-conscious brain. That's part of our powerful survival brain. You are expanding that. You are rewiring that when you step into or out of your comfort zone. I often use this analogy of an adventurous awakening. You are unlocking a gateway. You're unlocking a gateway to newfound land, to new pathways. And I've actually seen this on a brain scan working in real time. It happens, you can see new neural pathways growing. They're like trees, and they actually grow. It's insane, and it's real, and it's very exciting. Okay. So, why is it so powerful? We all have a sense of adventure. Our true nature that we talked about in the first part 1 is not afraid, because to be afraid, you have to believe that you are separate and you're limited. And our true nature knows that it's not separate, it's not limited. So this sense of adventure, this desire to do things that your cognitive brain doesn't want you to do, is there. It's in all of us, and it is waiting to be unleashed. So it's the cognitive mind that works with the ego to impose the limits, to make up the stories, to keep us limited, to keep us in the prisons. That's the construct. An adventurous awakening, however, pushes us beyond that comfort zone, beyond the construct, and expands us to the unlimited potential. So what I believe that our purpose in life, and this is why purpose is actually so easy for me, because we can all do it anytime we want. Our purpose in life is to experience it. I believe that universal consciousness has created us as locus of experiences, centers of experience. And this is why we have such a strong sense and impulse to experience everything that life can give to us. But, we just have these limitations that we have to break free from. So what I invite you to do is I invite you to challenge these perceived limits, understand and know what your brain, your cognitive brain and your ego are doing to you and how they're holding you back, and just go for that gateway, open it and see what's on the other side. Now, I'm not only talking about adventure as in physical adventures. I'm not talking about bungee jumping, whitewater rafting, these kind of things. It doesn't have to be like that. Adventurous awakening can be starting a new business. It can be things that you're afraid to fail about. A speech, a presentation, writing a book. For the lady that wanted to run, she was just afraid to run on her own. She thought something would happen to her. I had a woman last year, for her adventurous awakening was actually driving just her and her kids to Cornwall. I'm not talking about major trips that cost a lot of money. I'm just talking about things that you would normally hold back from because you're afraid. You have this psychological fear. And then when you start to expand, when you start to physically and neurologically create these new pathways, that's when a superpower emerges. That's when it gets really exciting. Because within us, we have our body intelligence. Now, our body intelligence orchestrates the creation and the development of our physical form, beginning with the intricate process of embryonic growth. So our body intelligence made us. It keeps us alive. It lives in the non-conscious. If you remember the non-conscious brain that's not accessible to us, body intelligence is responsible for our heartbeat, our breath, growing hair, new cells. But it knows what we need. But most people don't even ask for its guidance. Do you know that body intelligence even has its whole pharmacy contained? We have a whole pharmacy within us. We don't communicate with it, mostly because we've forgotten. We just think that we're these limited beings, and we don't realize that we have not only a creator within us, but we have our pharmacy, we have our doctor, internal doctor. It's everything. Now, the great news is, so not only the wisdom, okay, I've already explained the first bit, but the body has an innate wisdom within the non-conscious, and that's where it resides, in the non-conscious, not accessible to us, that maintains our body and heals our body. Now, the really exciting part is that information is passed from the non-conscious into the subconscious, which we can access. We can access the subconscious mind because it's just below that level of awareness. Learning to communicate with this inner intelligence reveals what we need. Our body intelligence is like a bridge to other sources of power. And we can continue this analogy because I said that an adventurous awakening is like a gateway. It opens up the gate to all this new land. And then we have all these pathways and, so much more expansive space for us and potential. And body intelligence is the bridge that can get us there. So how do we communicate with body intelligence? It does not have words. It doesn't have a language of words. It communicates with us very, very subtly. Some of you may have already received information from body intelligence. It's very subtle, and it can communicate to us through inspiration. It can use intuition. It can use dreams, places. If you have some sort of draw to a place or a time, books, podcasts, things, people, it can communicate through things that you're drawn to, things that you're interested in. That's how body intelligence works. And the more that we listen, the more that we respond, the stronger it gets. It can tell us what to eat, what not to eat, how long to sleep, what environments are good for us, how we can be supported, what nurtures us, how to move your body. It can reveal interests. It can heal us. Like I said, it has its own pharmacy, and it has the power of the non-conscious and the subconscious mind, which is immense. It's infinite. We already know that even just the subconscious is 220 times more powerful than the conscious. Well, the non-conscious has access to universal consciousness. It's infinite, right? So there is a distinction that I would like to discuss, and that's the difference between body intelligence and instinct. Body intelligence is not instinct. Instinct is impulsive, reactive, and often lacks reasoning. Instinct leans towards short-term reward in favor of long-term gain. Instinct is very powerful, and it works with those deep-rooted biological wirings that we talked about last week. So it can be very useful in keeping us alive, and has ensured from caveman days the long-term survival of our species. So we don't want to knock instinct, but we need to understand that that's not what we're talking about. Body intelligence extends way beyond intuition as well. It uses intuition as one of its many forms of communication. But intuition is often very much misunderstood and overlooked. And I actually work with people to understand and use intuition and there's a rule that I follow for intuition, and I actually borrow it from Joel Pearson, who has a lab in Australia. I can't remember what university. I think he's Sydney, actually. He's been studying intuition for over 25 years, and they actually can monitor it, and they can scale it, and they can tell whether it's used or not used. And he uses this metaphor of smile, and he just says smile before intuition. And obviously that anagram, it relates to certain things. So if you want to know more about that, look up Joel Pearson. He's very good. And look at his smile methodology. And again, it's science-based, which I love. And it kind of just helps you differentiate again between body intelligence, intuition, instinct, the whole thing. It's very useful. Okay, now there are a couple of rules that we need to follow so that we can really hear the messages from our body intelligence. And I would say the biggest rule is really that we have to maintain, not we have to, the closer we can be to maintaining homeostasis, which is a state of balance among all the body systems, the best chance we give ourselves of receiving the messages. Because if we're out of balance, if we're overwhelmed, we will be probably living mindlessly, and you won't notice the communication. You'll be functioning from your default mode network, and you'll remain unawake. You'll remain the other side of the gateway. You'll suffer, and eventually the body will be screaming out. And the way the body screams out is through disease. So we all know that there are endless do's and don'ts about what to eat, how to exercise, what's toxic, what's healthy, what's conflicting. And we get all this different advice on fasting, supplements, macros, microbiomes, etc. For me, honestly, I shy away from most of it. When you can communicate with your body intelligence will tell you what to eat, what not to eat, how to sleep. And what I have found is that it really keeps within those 5 to 7 recommendations for homeostasis. And again, if you want more information about them, I've got another video on that I'll share with you, because we won't go into it now because we don't have time. But it's basically, sleep 6 to 8 hours a night, eat whole foods, move your body frequently, have a good social network, not necessarily online, but friends, deep social connections, and spend as much time in nature as you can. That's it. But again, you will know how to take care of yourself when you can start communicating with your body intelligence. But in order to communicate with your body intelligence, we need to be in fairly good homeostasis. So your body holds deep wisdom. By learning to listen and respond, you're expanding. You're opening that gateway to new pathways. You're increasing your tolerance for ambiguity, so uncertainty, and you're increasing your tolerance for risk, and you're making space for creativity and inspiration. You will rely less on your default mode network. Now, I think before we practice, what I wanted to share with you was the case of Ian, I call it. And Ian was one of my clients. And I just want to tell you his story because it really shows the power of body intelligence. Ian is 65 years old and he's a very successful CEO. He came to me because he was drinking a lot of wine. He didn't have much to do at work anymore, and he would play golf. And during the golf round, he would have a couple of beers, and then afterwards he would drink a bottle of wine with his mates. So he was drinking far too much. And so when he came to me, I said, it's never about the wine. The wine was his comfort from discomfort. We have to go deeper. He used this body intelligence tool. He loved it and he used it a lot. He used it often. I wouldn't say every day, but he would use it 3 or 4 times a week. And I'll read you what he said. So, using the body intelligence tool, I sensed a growing urge to find my tribe. I was puzzled, but intrigued. I had these really cryptic messages. And then it goes into the writing. The body intelligence led Ian to discover a group that combined outdoor adventures with personal growth and, surprisingly, flying lessons. Initially skeptical, Ian decided to give it a try. The experience was transformative. He found himself tackling new challenges, engaging in meaningful conversations, and even taking his first flying lesson. The results were transformative. Through the group, Ian made new friends who prioritized living healthy. He was challenged, taken out of his comfort zone, and introduced to new adventures. Unexpectedly, he discovered a passion for flying. He started flying these like small 2-man planes. And Ian's journey illustrates a crucial point. Often what we perceive as a specific problem, like excessive drinking, is a symptom of a deeper need. But by tuning into his body's wisdom and embracing new challenges, Ian not only addressed his initial concern, but he rediscovered purpose and vitality in his life. And this story, Ian's story, reminds us that it's never too late to reinvent ourselves and find new sources of meaning and joy, even after outward success. So the messages that Ian said he got from his body intelligence, from the body intelligence tool, was find his tribe. And he just didn't understand what it meant. But the body intelligence was saying that, and that's what he followed. He followed this cryptic message. So the reason why I wanted to share that with you is because when you practice this tool of body intelligence, really random things can come up and they might not mean anything at the time. So if whatever comes up when we practice this, just note it down. Something came up for me about 2 years ago, and I wrote it down, and it just meant nothing. It meant nothing to me, and I couldn't think what it was. And then I had a dream, and when I woke up from the dream, I drew out my dream. Again, it meant nothing. And it wasn't until probably a year later that I started putting it all together, and I was like, oh, wow, that was profound. So I'm not saying things will take that long. Other things, I can talk to my body intelligence and it'll tell me what food to eat or what to drink, or how to move my body that day. But it's also, there's a very deep wisdom, and it can communicate what you need on a much deeper level than just what to eat, what to drink. That's why I wanted to share Ian's story with you. So why don't we, let me see if the next slide is, let's practice. So, as usual, I'm going to invite you to get yourself in a nice, comfortable position. I actually like to lie down for the body intelligence, but if you want to sit up, it's up to you. But just relax and take a few deep, slow breaths to center yourself. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your body. Starting from your toes, slowly scan upwards. As you scan, release any tension that you encounter. Feel your feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs. Relax. Notice your hips, your lower back, your abdomen, your chest. Relax. Be aware of your fingers, your hands, arms, shoulders. Relax. Sense your neck, your face, and the top of your head. Relax. Now turn your awareness inward, beyond your physical sensations. Observe your thoughts, your feelings, without judgment. Recognize that these mental states are transient, flowing through you. Now focus your attention on your heart center. Visualize a swirling vortex of energy here, and choose a color that resonates with you. Green or white are common choices, but trust your intuition. Now imagine this vortex spinning and drawing out negative energy, limiting beliefs, uncomfortable emotions, physical discomfort. Actually feel them being drawn out, coming out, and dispersing and being transmuted into neutral energy. The vortex is spinning. The negative energy, the limiting beliefs, the uncomfortable emotions, the physical discomfort is being drawn out of your body, dispersed and transmuted into neutral energy. And you can spend as long as you need here. 30 to 90 seconds might be comfortable. The vortex is spinning. It's drawing out negative energy, limiting beliefs, uncomfortable emotions, physical discomfort. They're being dispersed and transmuted into neutral energy. Breathe. Now reverse the vortex. Reverse it and visualize it drawing in vitality, clarity, well-being, positive energy. It's rushing into you through the vortex. Visualizing it spinning, drawing in vitality, clarity, well-being, positive energy. And again, you can spend as long as you need here. 30 to 90 seconds is usually comfortable. Now, with the vortex gently spinning, ask your heart center, what do you want to communicate to me? What do I truly need right now? Stay open to whatever arises. It could be an image, it could be a word, it could be a sensation, it could be an emotion, it could be a memory, it could be a dream. Don't analyze or judge. Simply observe and accept the first impression that you receive. So now we want to integrate the experience. So gradually let the vortex slow and fade. And bring your awareness back to your body. And just take a moment to appreciate the wisdom of your body. All of the non-conscious processes that are taking place beyond your awareness. Mentally express gratitude for this communication. And then when you're ready, slowly wiggle your fingers and your toes and gently stretch as you return to full awareness. And open your eyes and come back to the room. So what we want to do is we want to reflect and take some action on the message that we would receive. And you can listen to the audio of this so that you can maybe pause it and take your time, because the messages are profound. And what I would suggest is when you practice this, over the next few days, reflect on the message that you received and consider how you can honor that. Because it's the practice, the listening, and the responding that increases the power. Think about what small steps you might take to address or integrate what you've learned. And if something came up, like for Ian, he he just had this impulse. He had this message, find your tribe, and he really had no idea what to do or how that was going to work out. But write it down, actually write out the words or what came to you so that you can reflect upon it. And then you can ask again. You can practice the body intelligence again, and you can say, you know, you gave me this message. What does it mean? So you can explore. Yeah, your body intelligence is your bridge. It's your partner to your subconscious and your non-conscious, and then to universal consciousness. And remember that this skill, it deepens with practice. The more you listen and respond to your body's wisdom, the clearer and more profound the communication will become. Be patient and be consistent in your practice. And if, for example, you received some information about what you should or shouldn't eat, or a habit or something unhealthy, let me think of something that I get a lot of information about my food from my body intelligence. So then you can use the disruptor, which was the third tool and the one that I sent you the video for, to help you if you want to end a bad habit and implement a new habit, because that's what the disruptor's for. Okay, now let me just have a little look. I think we had a message pop up here. Did we have a little message? You love the exercise. Yeah, I love it too. Because I've got my book coming out next month, and as part of the book you have all these tools as an audio. So I went to a recording room and recorded each tool, and I actually listened to myself. I play it for myself sometimes, and I really, really love it. It's really beautiful. I think if you love that one, you'll love number 5 as well. That was a cool one. Okay, so a few more things to discuss here. What we learned was your comfort zone sabotages progress. We've got to get out of the comfort zone, whether that is, you know, doing something adventurous, as in a physical activity, or, you know, a speech, writing a book, giving a talk, or a new job, or starting a new career, new hobby, anything that you fear. You know, fear is the gateway. Fear is, if you fear it, that's the direction to go in. Adventurous awakenings expand potential and create new neural pathways. Align your health. So use it as an incentive to be healthy and have that level of homeostasis so that you can hear better. Because like we said, and again, this is scientific, this isn't woo-woo. If you're not in alignment health-wise, you're operating from your default mode network, your cognitive brain, your primordial instincts. That will block your body intelligence. Practice the powerful tool of body intelligence to communicate with your innate wisdom. Now, because this is the last part of this series, I want to give you a call to action, and I want to just remind you of how these tools work together, all 3 of them. So start by using the awareness anchor. Remember from part 1, the awareness anchor tool will bring you back to the present moment. It will center you. And this tool helps you stabilize and find peace, reconnecting you to your true self and dissolving that illusion of separateness. This quietens the ego. This starts to dissolve those mental prisons and constructs. Once you're centered, you can use the curiosity compass to help navigate the storm of negative rumination, unhelpful thoughts, feelings, and it will guide you to distinguish the helpful thoughts and feelings from the non-helpful. And this will inspire the growth and clarity that you need and get you unstuck. Then you can use, and I'm not saying you use these 3 in one time, that I think that would be overload. You know, you use them when you need them, but this is how they fit together. Each of these tools can be used alone or they can be used together. And I haven't found anything in life so far where these don't apply. They apply to the human experience. So with clarity restored, homeostasis alignment, we can embark on our adventurous awakenings. And this opens the door, it opens the gateway to a bridge, which is our body intelligence. And this takes us onto whole new ground. This is where your innate wisdom is accessible to you. And by maintaining homeostasis, you stabilize the connection, you reinforce the bridge, allowing your body to guide you towards vitality, creativity, and limitless potential. I have witnessed, I can only call them miracles happening by working with people with these tools. And what I love about it is it works so well with Lifebook. They really complement each other, because Lifebook, as you all know, is where we, you know, really dial down into what's important, the important categories of our life. And we have our sacred choices, we have our goals, and we have our sacred choices. This works to reinforce them. This makes it all happen, because so many people, when I've spoken to them, life bookers, they say, oh, I've got all my sacred choices, but then I just can't do it, you know, or I lose my way, I lose my guidance. I don't understand why I've got my life book, but I can't make things happening. None of things happen. Nothing's happening. That's where these tools like supercharged my life book. I love life book. I do life book every year. Life books just supercharged my life, but together it's really, really beautiful. Yeah, so that's what I invite you to do, is work with the tools. And like I said, you've got all those. Yeah, please do follow me and get in touch with me by my Instagram. I'll say it on here for the people that are watching the recording. Yeah, I am a co-pilot in people's lives. I teach them skills and I provide tools to help them navigate life until they realize that they don't need me anymore. And what they were searching for, actually, they had with them all along. And hopefully you can see how this works now, because each of the tools brings it back to you. You know, you're the one, you're the superpower. And so yeah, I'd love to stay in touch with you. And I'm just going to stop